everyone, and welcome to Edge Time. If you're new to the channel, I make knife review videos once a week, and for every knife that I review, I try to include a separate disassembly video. I apologize if my voice sounds a little bit rough. I'm currently getting over a cold, and I will try to keep this video as short as possible, which is fine because I pretty much have only good things to say about this knife, which is the CRKT Squid. This is the non-assisted version of the Squid, which I believe they call the thumb stud version, and this one is in black wash. I got this knife at my local Walmart a week or so ago when they were clearing them out. I got this one for $13. The list was 21, so pretty good deal. And I would call this knife an excellent knife for the price. I'm not sure if you can still get these anywhere. I haven't really looked on Amazon, but you should still be able to find them possibly on eBay or even old stock at your local Walmart if they haven't gotten rid of all of them yet. So, without further ado, let's get into the specifications of this knife. This knife comes in at a very modest, I'd say about 2¼ inches of cutting edge length, and pretty much the same for blade length. I would say, what is that? Maybe 2 3/8 of overall blade length. And then the overall knife length open is about 5 3/4 inches. And closed, looking at about, I'd say about 3½ inches, give or take a couple sixteenths there. So a very small knife, very modest sized knife. You could carry this just about anywhere. You obviously can't carry this everywhere. There are places that you can't carry any knife, but wherever knives are legal, this knife should be uh, acceptable. Some places don't allow locking blades, so you'll just have to take that into consideration if you're looking at getting this knife for a legal everywhere knife. So, things that I like about this knife. The blade design is incredible. It is a spear point blade, and it looks like the tip, just based on the blade geometry, wouldn't be very sharp and pokey, but it actually is. It works just fine. It has a good piercing tip. This is, of course, a almost perfect 50/50 spear point with a little bit of a false edge up here. This one is hollow ground, as most folding pocket knives are. I'm not sure what the deal is with the not engraving, but with the script on this knife. Usually on the CRKT Squid, the CRKT logo would be a little bit bigger. This would say, it would actually say Squid on this side and then Burnley Design, and you would actually have CRKT in the pocket clip. I'm not sure if they made this version just specifically for Walmart. That's what I'm thinking. That seems the most reasonable to me. But it doesn't really matter to me. I know it's a Squid. I don't have to have it on the other side of the blade here. And I certainly know it's a CRKT without them putting it on the clip. And I kind of like having a plain pocket clip anyway, just so that I'm not um, advertising what I'm carrying at all times. So yes, blade shape, very useful. I like how the thumb stud has its own little bit of ramp up here. It sort of gives it a almost comical look. The handle, the ergonomics are great on this knife. They don't look like they'd be that great. Like this little double scalloped edge here looks painful, to be quite honest, when you're looking at it, but it feels so nice in the hand. It does sit a little bit forward in your hand, which is good. It is a very small knife, but it doesn't feel like it's gonna fall out of my hand. I have a very secure grip, and even though my last finger does fall off the end, it doesn't feel awkward at all. I just think that this knife has obviously undergone a lot of refinement over the years that it's been made. This is a pretty old design from CRKT, or specifically from Lucas Burnley, but and they've had a lot of time to refine this and make it into the best iteration of the Squid that could be made. And I want to point out, I already said that this is the thumb stud non-assisted version, but I don't know, I haven't had any of the other versions of the Squid, but I would say they are probably good as well. I should probably try to get a button lock version eventually based on how much I like this one, but that's a little down the road as far as knives go. So, anyway, back to ergonomics here. Uh, the pocket clip is very nice and usable. It's just a standard deep carry pocket clip, has an excellent pocket profile. This thing does carry very nice and slim, compact, and you won't even really know that it's on you, other than it is pretty hefty for such a little knife. But I really do not care about heavy knives at all. As in, I do not, it does not make a difference to me whether a knife is paper light or whether it feels like a brick. It's, excuse me, still getting over a cold. All right. Like I was saying, it does not matter to me whether a knife is paper light or super heavy because I always I always wear a belt with whatever pair of pants I'm wearing, so the likelihood of a knife dragging down my pants is very low. So yeah, I don't care about weight really when it comes to knives. Let's see here, lock type. This is of course a frame lock, and it is a very good frame lock. The lockup, sorry, is very strong, very easy to use. I love how they're able to keep the lines clean here while still putting a little bit of jimping on the other side of the line or the frame lock here, not liner. And it does have a sort of neat little scalloped pattern here in the cutout for the frame lock. I forgot to mention the steel. This is made out of 8CR13 MOV steel. And a quick word about the 8CR steel family. 8CR, so like 8CR13 MOV, 8CR14 MOV, uh, those are Chinese steels. Those are made, I believe, exclusively in China. And for all of those who say that they are inferior steels, I can say that they are not. If they are heat treated and tempered properly, they are just fine. I've never actually had issues with a well-made 8CR series steel. I believe that people say they have similar properties to like an AUS 8 or AUS 10, and I can say that's mostly true. I mean, they're sort of a good all-around performer steel. They are easy to sharpen. They hold a good edge for a long time. Um, they're fairly tough. It's obviously no S30V or Magna Cut or anything like that, but these 8CR steels are still very much stainless steel, and they still do an excellent job as far as everyday cutting ability. So there is my soapbox on 8CR steel. Um, so let's see here. My overall opinion of this knife, I love this knife, um, and it is an excellent knife for the price. A lot of the knives I reviewed so far have said that they're good knives, but not for the price. I would say this one performs well outside of its price range. The lockup is rock solid. The blade design and geometry is excellent. It feels like an expensive knife. I mean, you can tell looking at it that it's not an expensive knife. I mean, it doesn't really look expensive for lack of a better term. It's just sort of your normal, ubiquitous, stone washed cheap pocket knife that you could get at Walmart. But it is an excellent knife. I've carried it a lot during the short time that I've owned it, and I haven't done a whole lot of heavy cutting with it. But I anticipate that when I do, uh, it will perform just fine. It's There's not much to go wrong with this knife. The frame lock is a very simple, tough, easy to use design. Um, all of the hardware is sturdy and stocky. There's just not much to break on this knife. So that is about all that I have to say about the CRKT Squid. If you find one at your local Walmart, I would strongly advise you to get it, or wherever else you might happen to find one. That's just where I got mine. And with that, I will be putting out a separate disassembly video for this knife, as well as a short review. Uh, with that, that concludes my review of the CRKT Squid, and I will see you all in the next one. Have a good day.